So sometimes when you're sitting in a meeting, you might have an idea that you want to share, but you don't because it's not fully fleshed out. It's hazy, it's partly constructed. So you hold back because you don't want to sound confused, unintelligent, or unprepared. Well, in this video, you're going to learn why it's important for you to share those partly constructed ideas and how to do it with clarity and confidence. Let's get straight into it. As I mentioned, many people are afraid to share partly constructed ideas, so ideas that aren't fully fleshed out. Ideas that are a work in progress, especially during meetings where you might be judged by senior leaders. This is a difference between leaders and people who aren't, because leaders aren't afraid to share partly constructed ideas because they know it encourages diverse thinking. By uncovering different perspectives, maybe others can help you see things you didn't think of. It helps you get buy-in for your ideas because other people in the room are involved more in that idea. By you sharing a partly constructed idea, they feel a sense of ownership. They feel a sense of involvement in coming up with that idea, in fully fleshing it out. Therefore, they're more inclined to buy into that idea. And it helps build a strong bond in a team because when people work together, when they brainstorm together to flesh out a problem or to find a solution, it helps them form a really strong bond, which is very important in team leadership. So leaders know these things, and that is why they're not afraid to share a partly constructed idea at work. Now, I hope I have convinced you enough in this video so far that it's really important for you to share partly constructed ideas at work as well. Now, let's move on to how you can actually do that. There are two phrases I'm going to share with you in this video that will show you how to share a partly constructed idea in a meeting. Once I share the phrase with you, I'm then going to tell you why it works, why it's really effective. And then I'm going to delve into a full-fleshed example so you can really see what it looks like in practice. You also have the choice of using the phrase that suits you more, the phrase that feels more natural to you. So everyone has a different communication style. Some people might prefer the first phrase that I share, other people might prefer the second phrase that I share. Both of them will help you achieve the result that you want to share a partly constructed idea in a meeting, but it's really your choice as to which phrase you prefer to use. So the first phrase is, I have an idea that I'd like to share with everybody. It's still an idea in progress, but with your input, I think we can get some clarity on it. Now, this phrase works really well because within that phrase, you are obviously stating that your idea is partly constructed. It's not fully fleshed out, it's still hazy, and you're still uncertain on a number of points that are to do with that idea. When you tell people this in the meeting, when you present an idea or before you present an idea, it stops them from expecting your idea to be 100% fully fleshed out. And I think this is something that stops a lot of people from sharing a partly constructed idea because they have the expectation or they're afraid other people in the room will expect them to have a 100% fully fleshed out idea and for them to be able to communicate that perfectly and in a really clear way to everyone in the room. But this is generally not what happens in many meetings. So it's important that you set the expectation, the first thing that you say to everyone in the room, that you have an idea, but it's not 100% constructed yet. Another reason this phrase works really well is because you request everybody's input in it. You tell people at the end of the sentence, by working together or by brainstorming together, I think we can get some clarity on it. So you're basically telling other people that you don't expect to form this fully fleshed out idea on your own. You actually want the help of the other people in the room. And this is a really, really important part of management and of leadership because you can't lead alone. You can't manage alone. You need other people in your team and in your company to work with you to form those fantastic ideas and to get projects really off the ground. So by requesting everyone's help on the idea and telling them that you want their help to fully flesh out the idea, you're telling them that you are a team player And that is how you want to craft the best ideas. So in a meeting context, this could sound like, I have an idea that I'd like to share with everybody. It's still an idea in progress, but with your input, I think we can get some clarity on it. For our monthly social media strategy, instead of posting pure sales promotions, I think it would be better if we shared stories about how our services have transformed the lives of our clients. I don't know if this would be an interview style series of posts or a short video, but I think if we can integrate client stories and successes into our social media strategy, it would have much more impact. What do you all think? Now, I think this phrase sounds confident, sounds clear. You're definitely emphasizing that it's a partly constructed idea. It's not fully fleshed out, so don't expect that. And you're also inviting other people for their ideas and for their input. This is definitely something that I would use as a leader if I were in a meeting with a team. So think of how you could use this kind of phrase in your next meeting. Is there an idea that you have that you want to share with other people and you've been holding back because you're not quite sure how to bring it up in the meeting because it's not fully fleshed out? Think about how you would use this phrase in your work life in the next meeting you have, and let me know in the comments below. Now let's move on to the second example. So the second example is this. I've been throwing around a couple of ideas as to the best way to XYZ. I'm hoping to get your input so we can together decide on the best solution. So the first idea is XYZ. The second idea is XYZ. What are your thoughts on this? So this phrase works really well because you give people two different scenarios. By saying the first idea is XYZ and then the second idea is XYZ, you give people the two different ideas that you have. So essentially you're giving them two different choices to go with, and they can help you flesh out one or both of those choices. This is a fantastic way to get your team talking about your ideas, to get your team brainstorming on your ideas, to get their input on your ideas so you can together fully flesh it out, make it better, or come up with additional ideas if those two ideas aren't that good. And again, like in the first example, you're starting off this sentence by telling people it's a partly constructed idea, so don't expect it to be fully fleshed out. And you're also stating that you want their input, that you value their ideas, and you want them to help you fully flesh out and construct that idea. And this is what it could sound like. I've been throwing around a couple of ideas as to the best way to handle this client. I'm hoping to get your input so we can together decide on the best solution. The first idea I have is to offer them a free trial for 30 days. The second idea is to offer them a bonus for free, or something like that. Either of these ideas could entice them to sign up to our services. What are your thoughts on this? So do you think you could use either of these phrases in your next meeting to share a partly constructed idea? And have you held back in the past during a meeting from sharing an idea because it wasn't fully constructed, because it was a partly constructed idea? Have you ever felt that you missed out on a fantastic speaking opportunity because your idea wasn't 100% constructed? Or maybe the hazy idea you had in your mind was mentioned by someone else in the meeting and they ended up getting all of the credit for the idea instead of you. If any of these things have ever happened to you, let me know in the comments below. If you did like what you learned in this video and you want more advice like this every week to help you on your leadership journey, then subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell too. Every week I release videos on leadership to help you in your leadership journey, and I would love for you to be part of this journey. Next week I'm talking about a really important topic in leadership: empathy in leadership. So you definitely want to check that out. If you're subscribed, you will get a notification when that video is released. And the next video you really need to watch, which will definitely help you out, is about asking questions, or more specifically, how to ask better questions, deeper questions in the workplace to get better answers. So watch this video right here next. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.